Hello and welcome. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest shakeups to the UK tax system in centuries. And if you have any international financial ties at all, you absolutely need to pay attention to this. This whole breakdown was put together for you by the experts at ProTax Accountant just to make sure you get the clearest picture of what's changing and, more importantly, what it means for you. So, let's get right into it.
So, let's just start with one number. 3,790. That's the number of company directors who have packed their bags and officially moved their tax residence away from the UK in the last year alone. It's a pretty staggering figure, and it tells you something big is happening.
And a number like that begs the question, right? What do they know that maybe you don't? What is causing this exodus of entrepreneurs from the UK? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack, because the answer is in a complete rewrite of the UK's tax rules for anyone with a global footprint.
So here's our game plan. First up, we'll look at the scale of this great British exodus. Then, we'll dive into the end of an era to really get why the old system is being torn up. After that, we're talking solutions, the new stuff, like the new 4-year rule, a really crucial limited time offer, and a massive inheritance tax shift. And we'll wrap it all up with what matters most, planning your next move.
Okay, so let's jump into Section 1, a great British exodus. And look, we're not talking about a few people here and there. This is a real and frankly accelerating trend of high net worth individuals and company directors heading for the exit.
This slide right here, wow, it really tells the story. Just look at the data. In the 2023 to 24 tax year, we saw about 2,700 directors move abroad. The very next year, that number jumped to almost 3,800. That's a 40% increase in a single year. This isn't a slow leak. It's more like the floodgates are opening.
So, where's everyone going? Well, there's a pretty clear pattern. The number one spot is the UAE, which makes sense with its tax benefits. But following close behind are European hotspots like Portugal, Spain, and Italy. You see the common thread here, right? These countries are rolling out the red carpet for wealth creators with much friendlier tax policies, a pretty stark contrast to the way things are heading in the UK.
And that brings us right to Section 2, the end of an era. To really get why this is all happening now, we have to look at the monumental change behind it all. The UK is scrapping a tax system that's been in place for over 200 years.
So for 2 centuries, the UK had this unique thing called non-dom status. Put simply, it meant that if your permanent home, your domicile, was officially outside the UK, you only had to pay UK tax on your foreign money if you physically brought it into the country. This was a huge deal, a kind of tax shield for foreign earnings.
And this slide just perfectly lays out the before and after. On the left, the old world. Don't bring the money in, you don't pay UK tax on it. Simple. But on the right, after April 2025, that's all gone. The new rule is if you're a UK resident for long enough, you're going to be taxed on your worldwide income, whether you bring it here or not. This is the game changer. This is what's driving the exodus.
Okay, time for a quick pro tip. If you are thinking about leaving the UK for good, it's not enough to just pack your bags and go. You have to officially tell HMRC. The way you do that is by filling out a form called a P85. It's a critical step, so don't forget it.
And stay with me, because this is where things get really serious. If you get this wrong, if you fail to declare your foreign income under these new rules, the penalties are, well, they're severe. We're talking up to 200% of the tax you owe. That's not a slap on the wrist. That is a clear message from HMRC that they are not messing around.
And as if that's not enough to keep you up at night, HMRC's reach is long. For cases where they think you deliberately didn't disclose something, they have the power to go back and investigate your finances for the last 20 years. The risk here isn't just about the money. It's a long-term liability that could be hanging over your head for decades.
Okay, that was the problem. So let's shift gears into Section 3 and start talking about the new system. Let's talk about the new 4-year rule. This is basically the UK's attempt to stay attractive for new talent, and it's called the Foreign Income and Gains Regime, or FIG for short. So who's this for? Well, let's break it down. To qualify, you have to be a new arrival. And this is key, you must have spent at least 10 straight years living outside the UK before you come back. If you tick that box, then for your first 4 years as a UK resident, you get a huge break. You can pay 0 UK tax on all your foreign income and gains. Think of it like a 4-year tax holiday to welcome you to the UK.
So what exactly are we talking about when we say foreign income and gains? Well, imagine you're a freelancer living in London, but you still own an apartment back in Berlin that you rent out. That rent money, that's FIG. It also covers things like dividends you get from shares in an American company, interest from a Swiss bank account, or the profit you make selling an overseas asset. All of that can be totally tax-free in the UK during that initial 4-year window.
Okay, on to Section 4. This is a big one because it's a crucial, time-sensitive opportunity for people already living here. It's called the Temporary Repatriation Facility, or TRF, and for anyone with untaxed funds sitting offshore, this is a very, very big deal.
So here's the deal. The government has opened a short, 3-year window for you to bring old foreign income back into the UK at a massively reduced tax rate. As you can see, for the 2 tax years starting in 2025, you can bring that money home and pay a flat tax of just 12%. That's it. It goes up a bit to 15% for the final year, but after that, the window slams shut. This is a one-time offer to clean the slate.
Now stay with me. The next point might surprise you, because the changes don't just stop with income tax. Let's get into Section 5, the inheritance tax shift. This is another fundamental rewrite of the rules, completely changing how things are calculated, moving from that old idea of domicile to something based purely on residence.
This quote on the slide just sums it up perfectly. It used to be that your inheritance tax bill was tied to your domicile, that fuzzy idea of your permanent home. Well, that's gone. The new test is simple, it's objective. It's all about how long you have physically lived in the UK, period.
And this table here breaks down that new reality. If you've been a UK resident for less than 10 years, you're generally only on the hook for inheritance tax on your UK assets. But once you cross that 10-year line, boom, your entire worldwide estate is now in HMRC sights. And this part is absolutely critical. That liability doesn't just vanish the day you leave. There's a tax tail that can follow you for years, even after you've moved abroad.
Which brings us to our final and honestly our most important section, planning your next move. That April 2025 deadline is coming up fast. Inaction is just not an option. You need a clear plan, and you need to start thinking about it right now.
So here it is. This is your action plan. First, you have got to figure out your exact residency status using the official test. Next, get a handle on all your foreign income and gains. Quantify it. Third, if you have any trusts or offshore structures, they need an urgent review. You absolutely have to reevaluate your new inheritance tax exposure. And of course, decide if and when you're going to use that limited time repatriation facility. But the last point is the most important. Get professional advice. These are life-altering changes, and trying to go it alone is a massive risk.
Now, of course, it's essential that I mention that all the information we've covered today is for general guidance. It is not and should not be seen as a substitute for professional tax advice that's tailored to you and your specific situation.
The tax world is shifting under our feet. To navigate these new global rules and to really secure your financial future, you have to consult with experts. The team at ProTax Accountant, who put all of this amazing information together for us, are ready to help you plan your next move. You can reach them directly on WhatsApp or by phone at 07985689912. Or you can email them at info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. Thanks for joining us.